Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Healing Lyme Summit. I'm your host, Dr. Mariah Hinchy. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the benefits of infrared sauna as an adjunct therapy for treating Lyme and co-infections, as well as other complex chronic diseases. And this goes way beyond just enhancing the body's ability to detoxify. There are actually, among other things, immune enhancing benefits from this light technology. And for any of you guys who frequently go to any of the Lyme conferences, my expert guest should be no surprise to you today. We have Phil Wilson from the Relax Sauna. Welcome, Phil. Thank you so much for joining us. Introduce yourself to our listeners and let them know how you got involved in this technology.
Okay. Well, first I have a degree in mathematics. Then I had an out-of-body experience. Then I had an energetic spinal awakening, and my whole body chemistry changed. I could hardly eat anything. I had to eat a really, really pure diet just to maintain sanity. I got into fasting, pure foods, and that was in 1971. In 1980, I actually opened up a health food store and a distributing company selling massage tools and cutting edge products to health food stores and health professionals. About 20 years later, I went to a biological dentist show in Las Vegas, where I happen to live now, I didn't then. And the next day there was a spa show. So I went to the spa show, and one of my massage tool suppliers had a sauna there, a portable sauna. I said, "Oh my God, I cannot believe you can have a portable sauna in your home," because I've always loved saunas. And I talked to someone the other day, he himself joined gyms or joined spas twice just to use their saunas. And I did it 3 times in my youth because I just have always loved the idea of sweating and saunas. It's always been incredibly invigorating for me. And so anyway, I bought the sauna a year later when I could afford it. And a year later, I got a call from Taiwan. Directly, the lady who called me said, "Our sauna has an advanced technology different than the one that you're selling online." I said, "Okay, how much is it?" They told me. I said, "Okay, send me one." And everyone, oh my God, it was a night and day difference. I had sold 6 of those other saunas in 2002, and now it's October of 2002, and I sold 24 saunas the next year in 2003, then 60 saunas, then 120 saunas, and actually in 2019 we sold 2,000 saunas, 2021 4,000 saunas, and last year we almost sold 6,000 saunas. So the world is becoming aware that far infrared saunas are not a passing fad, but as Rebecca Harder says in her book, Gastro Girl, Healing the World One Colon at a Time, she said, if you want to feel fabulous in the 21st century, a far infrared sauna is an absolute necessity. And people do not realize how important saunas are. I'll finish with Hippocrates, the great physician of Grecian times, the father of modern medicine, was quoted as saying, "Find me a way to create fever and sweat, and I will cure disease." That's powerful. That's powerful. And I was talking to a doctor at a cancer conference in Jacksonville about a few months ago. He said the Greek physicians actually, if you look at the derivative of the word, were called warmers. Their purpose was to warm the body so the body could naturally heal itself. And so saunas do not heal. They raise the body temperature so the body can naturally heal itself. And that's the beauty of far infrared saunas, different than any other energy medicine device available. And there are many good ones to the public and to doctors. Is
That's
that a good
great.
introduction?
So, why do you think Rebecca Harder said that? What do you think she was getting at?
Well, as a colon hydrotherapist and also who owns a hyperbaric oxygen chamber clinic, Uh, she was selling wooden saunas for 10 years and just turned her nose every time she saw us at the conference. And then she said, okay, in 2016, let me go in and try it. What the heck? 3 minutes, she could feel the difference. And it's like when there's a problem in the world, the solution comes at the same time. That's just the way it is. That's the way the universe works. On both sides of the same coin, something can't exist without its opposite. So the world was not toxic in 1960. They didn't need far infrared saunas. You can study the history, the Amazon Indians, the American Indians, the Finns, every culture, the Aborigines, the Grecian baths, the Turkish baths, the Russian baths, every culture has found a way to help the body heal itself naturally. Well, with the amount of toxin in the world, the far infrared saunas, which are called the superior sauna by Dr. Sherry Rogers in her classic book, Detoxify or Die, which is all about far infrared saunas and how people were left to dead she's an environmental doctor. People with chemical sensitivities and environmental problems were made a foot to her door, and she was able to get them all back to feeling great using far infrared saunas. And she called far infrared saunas the superior sauna. And even the Mayo Clinic said in 2004 that far infrared saunas are very therapeutic for heart patients, but that the heart patient should never use a Finnish sauna or a hot tub, because the heart has to race to maintain an equilibrium between the body temperature and the outside. With far infrared saunas, because they increase body temperature significantly, that's not the case.
So, Phil, why don't you tell our listeners what is the actual difference between a Finnish sauna and an infrared or a far infrared sauna?
It's major, because the purpose of a far infrared sauna, and Dr. Sherry Rogers points this out in her book, is to raise body temperature. That's the whole purpose of a far infrared sauna. And it does that by sending the same frequency of light as the human body and the water in your body. If you want to get specific, the 7 to 14 micron range is the specific magic frequency that matches water and the cells of the human body, all mammals and birds. The water molecule is a far infrared molecule. It emits far infrared light at 8 microns, and it absorbs far infrared light. Human bodies, mammals, birds, we're at 9.4 microns. So if we can shine the same exact frequency of light, it resonates with the water molecules, it vibrates, spins, and a physicist I talked to a couple of years ago, she told me that increases the voltage of the water molecule, which increases the body temperature. And then Hippocrates chimes in, bingo, I can cure you. Of course, he didn't know he can't say that in America, but he said, I will cure you of your disease by increasing body temperature, by giving you a fever.
Right. So it's actually like a fever treatment, which is what we, heard the term, what we were taught in naturopathic medical school. It's inducing a fever treatment in the body, which is our body's natural response when we have an infection inside of us. This is why we get a fever, right?
You bet. I remember age 11, 12, 13, 10, whatever, waking up on the third day of a flu, totally wet in bed, having sweated all night and feeling so fantastic. I mean, I just love sweating, but you can have Lyme disease and go out and play handball, or I don't know if you have Lyme disease, if you can, or basketball or whatever, and sweat like crazy, and the symptoms don't go away.
Right. Because it's not just sweating. So can you explain the difference between you go in a regular sauna and the temperature is hot and it makes us sweat versus when you go in the far infrared sauna and we have these lights that are actually penetrating deep into the cell, right? And then that is enhancing like your core body temperature.
Yes, the far infrared energy, actually between 4 and 14 microns, it penetrates 40 to 50 millimeters, which is 1 3/4 to 2 inches. Now, near infrared energy penetrates 1 to 2 millimeters and only does the surface of the skin. So near infrared energy is totally ineffective for raising body temperature. You have to be between 4 and 14 microns, and the relaxed sauna has been tested by the Polytechnic University in LA. All of the energy, 100% of it, is between 7 and 14 microns. Now, we've tested the relaxed sauna just recently in Philadelphia, along with another portable sauna, and the other portable sauna increases body temperature. Only about 10 to 15 to 20% of that energy actually makes an impact on the water molecules. And 100% of the relaxed sauna energy actually makes an impact. And we're like, well, we've been saying for 21 years that it's different. It's different. It's like when you go in the relaxed sauna, it actually feels loving. You feel like your grandma's giving you a loving hug. You feel like you're basking in divine love. Is what, there's no preheating. You sweat in about 7-8 minutes, and a lot of times you can have a complete sweat in 15 minutes or 18 or 20 minutes. And the other sauna, the other portable sauna I had, which was a good one back in 2001, I took the chair out and I would go in. It would take 18 minutes to sweat and 55 minutes for me to feel I had a good sweat. But there's still a difference. It wasn't loving light. There's a big difference, because the far infrared is soft, because it resonates with us and it matches our energy. And because it matches our energy, it's absorbed and penetrates. And the other energies between, like Dr. Sherry Rogers says, that we emit 3 to 50 microns, which is 3,000 to 50,000 microns, but mainly it's the 4,000, I'm sorry, nanometers. Okay, but it's mainly the 4 to 14 micron, which is 4,000 to 14,000 nanometers. It's red is 760 nanometers, violet 480. So the wavelength of water is about 10 times the wavelength of red. And so red light energy, that's a great technology, has a lot of benefits, and PEMF and microcurrent technology and hyperbaric oxygen and ozone and Rife machines, they all have great technologies. But the far infrared saunas are the only device whose purpose is to raise body temperature, to give you the fever that Hippocrates talked about, that was so important for true healing to take place, where the body heals itself.
And so a lot of saunas can actually be depleting, right? They can take a lot out of you. They can deplete your electrolytes. I've heard you say time and time again how the relaxed sauna is not depleting. And in fact, it has a host of other repleting benefits. Would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, there's a lady, Amanda, who I interviewed about 4, 5, 6 months ago. She had a $1,200 portable sauna and a higher dose blanket, and they left her depleted, and she gave them away because the relaxed sauna, after she got the relaxed sauna, because it was revitalizing. Now, why is it revitalizing? That's the important thing, because you don't have to resist the harsh energy that doesn't resonate with you. And that takes a lot of effort. It's just so simple to be there. And if it's the same energy as you don't know it's not you. So there's no conscious awareness. It just penetrates very deeply. Now, this is the energy when you go out into a sun on a hot day, you close your eyes and oh my God, it just penetrates you to the core. That feels so good. This is the same energy that goes through the sand and resonates with the water in turtle eggs and activates the turtle embryo to grow into a turtle. and the sand doesn't get hot. But it goes through, and it only affects the water molecules. If you have a heart pacemaker, you have a titanium rod, breast implants, all that stuff, none of that is affected. Only the water in your body and the organic cells. And that's the beauty of it. So it's totally safe. It's a beautiful, wonderful experience. You really feel revitalized.
And yes, you do. And I know that from experience, it does actually feel very, very similar to sitting in the sun versus with various other saunas, like a dry sauna, where it does feel very depleting. But so, how do the far infrared saunas enhance immune system activity?
That's a great question. We have a little tiny brochure. We say that raising body temperature does 5 major things. It basically gets the whole metabolic functioning moving and mobilize the lymphatic system to get toxins out. The heavy metals, the plastics, the glyphosates, the dioxins. It cleanses the body because it shakes the cell and allows the nutrients to go in and the toxins to go out. Many people have said, many wise health professionals have said that the only cause of disease is toxemia, getting rid of the toxins. And so, number one, it gets rid of, it mobilizes the lymphatic system. Number two, it increases microcirculation, and that always lowers blood pressure. So high blood pressure, oh my gosh, people are so happy when they go in because the blood pressure always lowers. It also gets rid of inflammation. And a lot of people have reported to me that the scar tissue is gone. I think when I was a kid, we had a smallpox vaccine that everyone had scars when I was a little kid. And all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, I said, I don't even know what arm it is because it's not anywhere near. It gets rid of scar tissue. And we've had incredible, 10, 20 video testimonies on that. But Lyme disease, we have 20 video testimonies on people saying their Lyme symptoms are not there. They come back a year later. One lady at a show, she had neuropathy associated with Lyme, and she had a portable sauna that she'd been using for a year, and she got in many times for an hour, but 12 minutes in the relaxed sauna, and oh my gosh, she felt tingling in her fingers for the first time. We also were at a conference, we had 2 vaccine injured ladies cry because they had feeling in their fingers for the first time in 2.25 years. And that's really heartwarming. The other lady, she could not feel the circulation in her leg. And after she got in 5-7 minutes. And what I've noticed is like, there's the finished saunas, the infrared saunas, and the far infrared saunas. There's a big difference because the far infrared saunas give you only the 4 to 14 micron light. And the other infrared saunas, there's full spectrum infrared, which is the same of infrared. It's just, when Quaker Oats came out with natural, wait a second, how come you call it natural? It's got sugar in it, refined sugar. Well, it's like full spectrum infrared is just saying it's infrared. And again, what the relaxed sauna does, it uses the tent as a mirror. There are 3 principles of far infrared light that most people didn't learn in 7th grade. It's a light, so those aren't heaters. They're lighters because they shine light, and light goes at 186,000 miles a second. Light goes through the far infrared goes through clothes, because how can we feel so good, the core of our being, through our clothes? It goes through, and the other thing is that, and this is the hardest one, it's reflected by a mirror, even though it's invisible. And so the relaxed sauna behind me, you can see it has a silver tent, and it goes through the blue cloth, hits the silver, and bounces. Now, what's nice is with Lyme disease, and especially with Lyme disease, they're tricky little, whatever you want to call them. They morph, they do all sorts of things, and in this particular sauna, they don't have a place to hide because every nook and cranny of the tent reflects the light. Now, when you sit in a wooden sauna, and you sit in front of the window or the cat lies in the sun, not in the shade, because it's a light, it's not heat. It has to penetrate. You have to be in front of the light. So you get all the nooks and crannies. And some other of saunas, almost all of them, they don't have any front coverage. And so your face, your chest, it doesn't get the healing light. And so this is where the lime spirochetes and the other thing, I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry. They can hide there. And of course, then you also have the things about laying the eggs. So doing the far infrared sauna regularly is really, really important. And we are so pleased. We went to the ILADS conference about 12 years ago, and that's still our record. We sold 43 saunas in one weekend. And we were impressed. But again, doctors find that it's different and unique. And of course, the patients. And what I tell people, in 5 to 7 minutes, guaranteed every time. I say this tongue in cheek because it's really true. 50% to 100% of a person's pain will be gone without sweating, with your clothes on. And I've noticed it, but I never said it. I've never been brazen enough to say it until the last year. Usually I tell people it feels like your grandma's giving you a loving hug, or it feels like you're basking in divine love. Now, you've been using the relaxed sauna for many years, haven't you?
Yes, I have. I have one in my wellness center that I use personally several times a week. And I will say, you have seen me running around for 12 hours a day in pretty high heels at the ILATS
Yes,
conference
right.
for about 3, 4 days straight. And, there's been time where my back has been killing me. And yes, I will come over to you and hop in the sauna. And I mean, it's significantly reduced, if not gone, which I know sounds too good
Yeah.
to be true, but it actually is true. Now, obviously, that's different than people suffering from, pain induced by Lyme disease, and that can be a little bit more stubborn, but
Right. Yes.
you definitely can feel the difference. So, can you please share your contact information with our listeners?
Yes, the website is relaxsaunas.com. And we have a special landing page on that specifically talks about Lyme disease, and that's Relax Saunas, and that's with an S, relaxsaunas.com/Lyme, Lyme. It doesn't have to be capitalized, it can be lower, it doesn't matter. So relaxsaunas.com/Lyme. My email is phil@relaxsaunas.com. They're more than welcome to call me on the phone as well. I'm still giving out my phone number. It's 626-200-8454. And I love talking about just the spontaneity of how the relaxed sauna does wonders for a person's vitality, their awareness, their freedom,
I want you to talk about the patented semiconductor chips and like the technology behind that. And then we'll dive deeper into the physiological effects of the sauna.
That sounds great. The Relaxed Sauna Company in Taiwan was asked by a Japanese company. In the southern islands of Japan, they have healing spas where people will go, and all of a sudden miracles happen in their health. It turns out there's a preponderance of far infrared energy in those spas and those healing waters, along with Lourdes in France and etc. And so they asked the Relaxed Sauna Company in Taiwan, can you make something like this out of electricity? And 10 years later, they finally got back with them and said, we did it. It took us 10 years to do it, but we found a way and they created a semiconductor chip. Now, Planck's law says they're not supposed to be able to do what they did, but with the semiconductor chip technology, that puts it on a whole different level. And without the computer semiconductor chip technology, it is impossible to do. And it's patented, and other saunas simply do not have the technology. You either have carbon or you have ceramic, And and a long time ago, 10 years ago, they used to fight among each other, which is the best. But frankly, it's a second class of far infrared energy. And the relaxed sauna is like a third different level. It's totally a different level. And so many times I run into people with wooden saunas and they say, I've got a wooden sauna that couldn't do what my wooden sauna does. And frankly, it doesn't. It does way more. And I like to say, you can buy on Amazon. There's hundreds of portable saunas, and every sauna is going to be helpful to every sauna. And their sauna is selling for $300 to $500 on Amazon, and they're frankly worth about $100. There's a $1,200 sauna out there. It's probably worth about $400 or $500. The $5,000 saunas are worth that. The relaxed sauna is a $15,000 sauna, as I like to say, and it sells for $1,500. And that's the difference. If you have a grocery store 4 miles away from you and someone gives you a bicycle, you're ecstatic. If someone gives you a motorcycle, you're even happier. But if you have a Mercedes, it's really nice and you can take all the groceries home with you in the car too. So there is a difference. And it's like a lot of people think that all saunas are created equal. And that's like saying all vitamin C supplements are the same. Well, sometimes you have 240 capsules and they're a gram. And sometimes you have 30 capsules and they're 100 milligrams. So a lot of people don't realize that the dose of a sauna is something to look at. And people they say, oh, a sauna is a sauna. And they just look at the price. Well, every sauna is different. They all have good benefits. Some have, but what you want is you want to be able to increase body temperature. That's the secret. That's the secret, to increase body temperature, because that's what does the magic. I know Dr. Paul Anderson, and he used to teach at Bastyr College for 25 years, and he gives seminars. And he says it's remarkable. The relaxed sauna can increase body temperature 101.5 to 101.9 every time. And this, he says, is very remarkable for a sauna, and it borders on being hyperthermia, and you got to be careful about using the word, but they have hospitals in Germany. The purpose is to raise body temperature enough to kill all the parasites, kill all the junk, and they have specific technology available to them, because if you increase the body to 104, 105, you kill everything. But if you increase the body to 107, 108, you kill the human body. You don't want to do that.
Right. Phil, I want to interrupt you for 1 second
Sure.
here, because you're talking about the different saunas that are out there. And I will tell you, I have had patient after patient after introducing them, to my sauna in my clinic. And then, they come back and they're like, oh, look at the sauna that I found for like, $200 on Walmart. It looks exactly the same. And it's like this plastic bag, for lack of a better, with a heater inside of it. And, you're getting in there and you're zipping this up around you and you're basically just off gassing a bunch of plastics. So I think it would be good for you to tell our listeners, like, what is the material that they're actually sitting in? Like, it's not plastic.
No, it's not plastic. It is polyester. I'm not a fan of polyester. I'm a wool and cotton and linen and silk. Those are the only things I wear. I finally have surrendered. I have a few long sleeve shirts that are 60% cotton and 40% polyester, which were given to me.
Mm-hmm.
But way back, I cannot wear a t-shirt that's part polyester because I can't breathe. I mean, I'm suffocating. But the polyester is good because it holds the heat in, and it's not off-gassing. The carpet in any house or any hotel is way more dangerous. Now there is a man who posted on Reddit.com in February of 2017. He said, "My gosh, look what the research on wooden infrared saunas can do. This is remarkable." He bought a $300 Amazon sauna. Then he bought a $500 Amazon sauna. They failed to increase body temperature more than a half a degree. And the most important feature of the far infrared saunas is increasing heart rate variability. They totally failed to do at all. The research on on sauna says heart rate variability is increased. Then he bought a relaxed sauna. It increased body temperature 3 degrees in 25 minutes. But more importantly, the heart rate variability increase blew him away because it was far, far more than what the research on far infrared sauna says they can do. There's a new book out by Ariel Callista Meller called Infrared Illuminated, and she's got about 150 articles on research on far infrared saunas. And she also has been using the relaxed sauna for 2 years. She has a company where they infuse far infrared energy into jewelry. And she's very intelligent, and a good friend of hers is probably one of the foremost experts on far infrared energy on the planet. And he compares our saunas to the other ones and says there is absolutely an incredible difference. None of the saunas are, I mean, they're good. I mean, they all have testimonies, but if you want to increase body temperature, heart rate variability, and a lot, especially with Lyme disease, that's a tricky one. Mold toxicity, we get really good results. Chronic pain, we've got 6 cancer clinics to sell the relaxed sauna. I'm just so pleased to be able to educate people. And there's also probably concerns about EMF. But see, since we have 9 times more far infrared energy than any other sauna, and it's been proven in Japan that far infrared energy antidotes the negative effects of microwave EMF. See this? That's a microwave device, 100 times more dangerous than the EMF in any household appliance, let alone any sauna. That's just something just to be able to note. But it actually, far infrared sauna will antidote and undo the harm caused by microwave EMF energy. And that's beautiful to know and beautiful to experience.
Yeah. So, Phil, for somebody with Lyme disease specifically,
Yes.
how many minutes, how many times a day, how many days a week do you recommend using the sauna to have this oxygenating and immune enhancing benefit?
That's the beauty of the relaxed sauna, in that it preheats. It takes not 10 to 30 minutes to preheat, but 10 to 30 seconds. So 5 to 7 minute treatments with your clothes on are incredibly effective with people for Lyme. Now, sometimes occasionally, I mean, rarely, but we have had people have the Herxheimer effect. They go in for 3 minutes and oh my God. And so there are people who need to be careful and measure that. But most Lyme patients that I've come across have been able to go in for 5-10 minutes. They test it gingerly, and then they can do a 20-minute sweat. And they come back a year later saying, you know, my girlfriend's, all her symptoms are gone. There's a naturopathic doctor out of Washington. Her Lyme literate doctor said, well, okay, his wife is 70% better. Now you need to have a far infrared sauna. He got ours. And within a few months to 6 months, she was 95% better. She doesn't need to do it every day. She does it about 3 times a week. And so that's really heartwarming when you have so many benefits. But basically, you could do it 5 to 7 minutes, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. Or you can do, and I recommend it, go in with your clothes on. And then all of a sudden, if you're feeling really good and you get to that crossroads in your life, do I get out because I don't want to sweat, or do I stay in because it feels so damn good? Then you can take your clothes off and sweat. And so, but a lot of people will do 20-minute sweats once or twice a day if they can. And Dr. Roger Billica in Fort Collins, Colorado, says that when his patients, not necessarily Lyme, although he used to be medical director for NASA for 10 years. And he says when his patients finally start sweating, the non-sweaters, when they finally start sweating, there's a marked difference in their healing journey. So that's what you want to do. But if you're not a sweater, you're not a sweater. But eventually, if you do it enough, and so many people have reported to me, and when they do start sweating, it's more magic happens.
Yeah, I've had a lot of patients who can't sweat initially when they go in there. And a lot of them have really either impaired detoxification or they have just like a really low vital force. And I think that using the sauna actually, I like using the sauna in conjunction with Epsom salt baths. I think doing the combination
Yes.
of those two therapies really actually helps to increase their vital force overall.
I think the vital force, that is crucial. And that distinguishes, I believe, the relaxed sauna from many of the other saunas. I know we were at a cancer conference in Reno, Nevada about 12, 15 years ago. This guy used to go across LA to his mom's house, 45 minutes, and go in the sauna. It would take 45 minutes, and he'd come out exhausted. He did a 25 minutes total and complete sweat at this conference, and he felt rejuvenated. And that's really important, because if you have Lyme disease, you want to be revitalized. You want to. And there's something in the relaxed sauna that does that, because it penetrates and cleanses and oxygenates the body. But what it does, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system in a way that others can't touch. And that's the secret, because, see, I have a quasi definition of pain. I say it's the awareness of time. If you've ever hurried, or you've worried, or you're waited, all that's involved in time. So when you activate the parasympathetic, you get outside of time, you get into the moment. And that's where true healing can take place. When that nervous caffeine mind is not doing its thing, it's like when you're sleeping, true healing can take place, because we're not getting in the way. And so what happens is, once you get all that nervous energy out, and you get to that 0 point where you're calm and mellow, then the mitochondria can start creating real energy, true energy, coming from you being connected with the divine, for you being connected to source, for you being in the present moment, because that's where all the magic happens. And that's the beauty of what far infrared does. It oxygenates the cell, killing the anaerobic bacteria. We've tested the relaxed sauna. It will increase muscle oxygen 45%. Now, I believe we haven't tested other saunas, but I don't know if they can increase muscle oxygen more than 20%. We have the Dodgers bought 3 saunas from us a couple of years ago. A lot of the other Major League Baseball teams. It's for performance and recovery. Marathon runners, just recovering is just so wonderful. And when you've got Lyme, you've got so much junk, going on in your body. You need a break. And getting into, I was putting people in the sauna about 15 years ago. And I asked the lady, well, how do you feel? She said, relaxed. Next lady, how do you feel? Relaxed. Next lady, how do you feel? Relaxed. I said, oh my God, that's why they call it the relaxed sauna. It never even dawned on me after 8 years, because, like most people don't realize momentum comes from the word moment, or
Right.
observe comes from the word serve. We just don't notice those things. But I think becoming aware of the pictures you're looking at is such a secret to life. And I'm actually writing a book about that called Pictures of the Mind, freeing yourself from beliefs that no longer serve you. And that book will be out this year. Look for it.
I will. I look forward to reading it. I think it's
Me
I mean
too.
that we could go off on a completely different topic right now, but yes, I've been very much realizing, recently that we create our own realities and we create them with our own thoughts. And so that can be a good thing or a bad thing.
It's great, because if you created your reality, you can't blame anyone, and you can't be a victim, and therefore you have the power to uncreate it. And so
Exactly.
it gives you freedom.
Or recreate it.
That's right.
So Phil, I want to make it clear for our listeners because I don't want them to think from what I said that if you're not sweating, you're not getting any benefit. So it is true that you're still going to get benefit from this far infrared light, even if you don't have the ability to sweat or if you cannot stay in it long enough to the point where you do start sweating. Is that a correct statement?
I've been at shows. I've seen 30,000 people without sweating get rid of 50% to 100% of their pain. There's so many benefits, because you're still locally increasing the body temperature. And it's a process. It's a process. And one eventually has patience and honors the process, being where you are, allowing the healing to take place. If it took you a long time to get to where you're at, and it takes a long time to cleanse the body. And you also, by the way, increasing body temperature, even 1 degree, if you have low thyroid, will help you assimilate nutrients 20% more.
Wow.
Increasing the body temperature allows you to assimilate your nutrients. And most of us, I don't know, most of us, but a lot of people have digestive problems assimilating, absorbing nutrients. But again, absorbing the light and cleansing the cells allows the nutrients to come in. That's so important. And it restructures the water. It softens it. It softens it, and I can't say the word surfactant. It gives you, I mean, I was talking to Dr. Jubb, who's written a lot of books back in the 90s. He's quite an amazing man, and he's explaining to me what far infrared does and how it's so essential. And when he had his clinics in New York City, he always told people to go into the wooden saunas, and they didn't do it very often. But if you have a protocol and you're not doing a far infrared sauna along with your protocol, you're not getting the job done nearly as well. You need to get the toxins out, and then the far infrared gives you the oomph to get it out of the body. It's not musical chairs. You need the oomph to get it out of the body. And far infrared saunas are almost like, I don't understand why not every single holistic health practitioner in the world doesn't insist on using far infrared saunas. I mean, it's an educational process. They're different. What distinguishes far infrared saunas from any, whether it be red light or near infrared lasers or a PEMF or microcurrent technology, the far infrared saunas increase body temperature. That's the key. And that create that fever that Hippocrates, raved about. That's so important.
It is. And so are these saunas available worldwide or?
Yes, the relaxed sauna is made in Taiwan, and they ship to any country in the world. And they give you the Australian sauna with the 220 volt, with the Australian plug, the French plug, the English plug, the Spanish plug, whatever, the German, yes. And there, unfortunately, after COVID, shipping used to be about $200 to another country, but now it's about $400. And I think in Israel, it's $650. And that's just, what can I do or say? But they will ship you from Taiwan directly the exact currency, electric currency, and the plug that you need.
Okay. And you had said that they're $1,500, correct?
15. Now, there is a deluxe for rich Taiwanese. I call it the Monet sauna. It's for people who want to be special, and it's got the embroidered logo on it. And it is a little thicker, and it does reflect a little bit better. And it retains the heat better. And if you have money and you want the best, spend $2,100 and get that. If you like the way it looks, I used to buy colored staples for 7 times more than silver staples because it brought me joy. But incidentally, that reminds me, the relaxed sauna is the only sauna I know that brings joy. And one day she showed up at the booth and said, "I'm Joy."
Oh, you're funny. All
Mental
right.
clarity, mental clarity, getting rid of depression, all these mental, emotional. I mean, it cleans, it purifies. It's like, just imagine basking in divine love. It cleanses and purifies everything, emotionally, mentally, and physically.
So I believe that, and I've seen it and I've experienced it, but is there research on this? Have you seen, or, can you point our listeners who are critics to any sort of like research articles on the benefits of far infrared energy systems or saunas, or, for those listeners that want to see like the concrete evidence before they are going to invest in something like this for themselves?
We have research in 2004 with our little lamp, our portable lamp. I don't have it here, but we're the only sauna company that can actually use their technology as a lamp, whether it be a professional lamp you can put over the tummy while you're doing colonics, or the lamp that can get rid of a tooth pain from a 7 to 1 in 5 to 10 minutes. This lamp in 2004, we compared it to a near-infrared lamp and to nothing, and we were able to significantly increase circulation and to reduce pain, I think, to get rid of inflammation and reduce circulation. Increase circulation significantly more than the near-infrared lamp and significantly more than nothing. So there is research. We have tested it recently about increasing muscle oxygen 45%. We have tested the energy coming out of the relaxed sauna at the Polytechnic University in LA, and 100% of the energy actually is between 7 and 14 microns. And again, Dr. Sherry Rogers says we emit between 3 and 50, but mostly at 9.4 microns. In her book on page 208, Detoxify or Die, which spawned the whole far infrared sauna industry. So we do have research, and we're working on getting research on not just the far infrared ray. There's 150 articles about far infrared ray and what it can do. And it's way more than, there's people who have been promoting Finnish saunas for a couple of years. Some of them are very vocal on YouTube, but they don't know about the relaxed sauna. They do not know about the relaxed sauna, and it would blow them away, because this is far more effective than any wooden sauna I've had. And the wooden saunas are great, and they've saved lives, and people have had cancer, and they've gone into them, and their cancers have gone away. It's been instrumental. Dr. Brian Clement at Hippocrates Institute has been promoting wooden saunas for years. He now travels with the relaxed sauna. Dr. Klinger uses the relaxed sauna. Dr. Robert O. Young has been using saunas for 40 years, and he now uses the relaxed sauna. He is, we have many, many people, and it's a slow process, educating people, getting them to try. And again, I believe in Chinese traditional medicine. I've been using Chinese herbs since '84. My company was selling Chinese herbs, medicinal mushrooms, green powders, oxygen products, aroma essential oils in the '80s to health food stores. I've been progressive, and the far infrared saunas are amazing, and I know from experience. But then again, like you say, some people, they have to have the research, and I'm saying jump in, experience it. Then you'll want to do the research. I was at a show, a doctor, I said, what is the relaxed sauna? I said, it's loving light. Then he said, can you give me something more scientific? I said, okay. And I went on to explain all this, whatever. And the next day he came back and said, I think the loving light was the best description you gave of me to me, because it's just, oh my God, you feel revitalized after 5 minutes. That's what I did right before I said I'm going to be a minute or two late. I had to get in the sauna for 5 minutes. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night because I was busy getting things done on some other projects.
So to recap for our listeners, so we have this loving light that is going to help your body to detox on a cellular level. It is going to help to enhance immune system function, decrease inflammation, increase oxygen, blood flow, but also oxygen concentration and oxygen concentration in the muscle. Anything else that I'm leaving out, Phil?
Well, it'll get the mitochondria, create ATP and nitric oxide. And a lot of people say, well, near infrared will do this. Well, maybe it will, but far infrared penetrates a lot deeper. And frankly, from my experiences, it's far more effective. There's a lot of myths out there. People are concerned about EMF, and I know that the fear of EMF is 100 times more dangerous than EMF itself. Like if you go on the Harry Potter set, you say Voldemort, I remember about 5 years ago, this lady said, I don't want any dangerous EMF in my sauna. I said, oh my gosh. They said, Valdemir. But it's, and again, we have 4 people in Southern California and Phoenix. They go into houses to make them safe EMF wise. They all have relaxed saunas in their own homes. So, it's like, let's talk about the pure technology and giving you the far infrared light. So the tent and it's like, I'm giving you pure, like ginseng, and maybe there's a tiny, tiny bit of sugar in the coating, but I'm giving you wild ginseng, and it's 10 times more powerful than regular ginseng. And so I finally said, okay, Fui, and I started eating it and said, oh my gosh. And I was not doing it before because of the little tiny bit of sugar. So we learn after a while to not sweat the small stuff. We learn to just relax, listen to our inner guidance, and just say, okay, let me go in and see. And lo and behold, it's amazing. And it blows people away because they cannot believe it feels so good so quickly. But that's, each person, when they're at their time, when they're ready, then they're ready. Until then, they're closed-minded, and that's okay. That's part of the process. And I'm here as an educator. This sauna is good. All saunas are good. This one can get results. And it's sad because sometimes people don't get the results they're looking for. And I know if they had the relaxed sauna, they would. And so I'm on a mission. I'm a man with a mission, and many missions, but basically for people to become more free. Part of being free is not having pain. My mom used to say, if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And it really is nice to have your health. I've been, for 55 years, I've been meditating and on a pure diet. And so I do my best to feel connected, to feel free. And you know what happens? Then you can love, and then you can accept love. And that's the best of all things. And when you have had wonderful things happen, you want to share it with the world. And so I'm here to say the relax sauna is pretty damn good. You might want to try it. No claims, not that it's better than another one. It's good. It gets the job done.
Great. So
Yes.
again, if our listeners want to further this discussion with you or purchase one of the relaxed saunas, please again share your information with them.
Okay, it's Relax Saunas with an S, relaxsaunas.com. The special landing page on Lyme is relaxsaunas.com/Lyme, Lyme. My email is phil@relaxsaunas.com, and I'm still accepting phone calls. One of these days I may not be so, but it's 626-200-8454. I live in Las Vegas. I lived in Columbus, Ohio for 50 years. I went to graduate school there in mathematics. I still have my health food store there for 44 years that I opened up in 1980, selling progressive products. That's how to contact me. And by all means, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. There's payment plans you can do online. We want you to get the sauna, and if you don't feel better, people who have had other saunas, other portable saunas, have got the relaxed sauna, and they don't send the relaxed sauna back. They sell their other sauna, or the one lady gave it away, a $1,200 sauna, just gave it away because it left her depleted, and the relaxed sauna revitalized her. She said, I'm a detox specialist. I need to be revitalized. I'm 52, I need to. And so anyway, that gives you a little information. The Relaxed Sauna Company has been in business for 42 years. I have been in business for 44 years. And the Relaxed Sauna Company is from Taiwan. It's not China. It works. It works. And the semiconductor chip that gives you only the 7 to 14 micron, that's the secret. It's the technology that makes it stand head and shoulders above others. The relaxed sauna can transform your house into a home, because where there's a home, there's a hearth, a place of warmth. And houses should be built around, like in Finland, around the relaxed sauna, then put the stove in, then the refrigerator, maybe the washing machine, then build the home. But it's a foundation for a home. If you don't have a relaxed sauna in your house, then you have a house. Not a
Thank
home.
you so much, Phil, for being with us. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much to all of our listeners for joining us for this episode of Healing Lyme. I hope that the information that you've heard in this episode was helpful on your journey to healing from Lyme. Thank you so much. Thank you, Phil.
It was great. Thank you so much, Mariah.